WP, you serve aboard a starship. The crew dismissed magic as superstition and used technology for everything. You're secretly a mage, and you always save the day with magic, but scramble for harebrained explanations that everyone always seems to buy. I stood before the captain's desk as he glanced at the report my supervisor had sent him, slowly swiveling back and forth in his chair. I watched as his eyes rapidly scanned the data pad, rereading sections a few times before he lowered it and looked at me. I swear I could see the wheels spinning behind his eyes before they widened slightly. "You're the one who won the talent show last month?" he inquired. "The stage magician?" I nodded briefly, keeping my eyes forwards and my arms tight to my sides. The captain motioned to the chair next me as he placed the data pad on the desk, and his posture became more relaxed. I swiftly took my seat, sitting on the forward edge, and kept my back ramrod straight. The captain continued to regard me, glancing over my insignia before pointing to the data pad with a single finger. "This report answers many questions, but raises even more. According to this, you managed to redirect a plasma flare in the engine with a simple screwdriver, a non-powered kind, and somehow had the exact type of fuse needed to replace the one that had just burnt out. A fuse, I might add, that requires my explicit permission to acquire from the ship's stores. And to the best of my memory, I signed no such order any time in the last 2 years. Care to explain either of these anomalies?" I smiled, weaking, my thoughts whirling at breakneck speed before jumping onto the first coherent excuse I could muster. "Sir, the conduit only required a minor shift in position to realign the plasma flow. I got lucky that the screwdriver blade was thin enough to fit and strong enough to not break when I pulled on it." His response was immediate, and the other, my dad was a ship engineer and gave it to me as a graduation gift," I ventured weakly. My thoughts froze as I watched the captain's eye narrowed for a moment, and I almost leapt out of my seat when he suddenly exclaimed, "I see. Better to be lucky than good, right?" The hesitant smile on my face felt phony even to me, but the captain seemed to accept it as genuine. He nodded to himself and scooped the data pad off the desk. I watched as he typed in something furiously before adding his signature with a flourish. "There. I've put in my recommendation for a medal, one for valiant service, to be put into your service record. It'll go well with the others that you've managed to earn. Good work, Ensign, dismissed." I stood quickly and snapped off a salute before spinning in place and marching to the door to the captain's office. It opened without a sound and closed behind me just as smoothly. I paused for a moment and took a deep breath, letting it slowly escape through my lips. I don't know how many more excuses I can come up with before someone figures out I'm actually using magic asterisk, I thought grimly. I recalled the vast amounts of ridicule I had endured as a child and later at the Naval Academy. My parents had warned me that society wasn't ready to accept magic as real, and that if I didn't want to end up as a lab specimen, I would either need to stop casting spells altogether or find ways to cover my tracks when I was caught. I knew that Dad was not going to be happy that I had used him as part of my excuse this time, but maybe a souvenir from the pleasure planet nearby would mollify him.